And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the City of Oakland Park, the Urban Farming Institute, and the fabulous, stimulating, educational, entertaining Talk at 10. We're very happy to have you here this morning, and it's 10 o'clock. I mean, it's amazing. We're actually pretty much on time, which is really very good. And thank you very much for watching these videos and jumping over to YouTube and seeing what we do there. This has been a really interesting week here. We've had a lot of interesting things going on, and we've had a lot of really good conversations about gardening. And we had a person come in yesterday, and it was just a delightful person who's been here several times and wanted to set up a hydroponic system. And we said, it was a system that we had trialed some years ago. And what struck me so important about that is that here was a person who wanted to grow hydroponic vegetables at home in a system that we know is going to be challenged. And but I was very happy to work with her, and it was really important because if you're going to grow vegetables at home, then we don't particularly care what the system is. If we can help you define, design, build, whatever, we want to do that. We want you to be as self-sufficient as you can possibly be when it comes to growing food in your own backyard. And, we have on our Act Now series, you can go there and see Megan Kelly, and she does a really interesting visit from place to place here at UFI and talking about the edible weeds. And we have a lot of edible weeds here. In fact, you probably have edible weeds in your yard. You just don't realize that they're edible. The other thing that was really very interesting is that in putting together this system that is going to, for sure, is going to be challenged, we really support that. We really support that idea because if you're challenged in a growing situation at your house, you need to let us know. If there's any way that we can help you, we certainly are going to do that. And if there's some information that you need, you can comment here. You can send us an email. You can contact us any number of ways, and we'll be happy to talk to you about, gee whiz, maybe you should think about doing things this way. But one of the other things that was really, really kind of striking was the comments we had on Jeff's Everglades tomatoes and the cultural practice that is so carefully used and the lawn mowing technique. I can tell you that this is a technique that absolutely works. We have some good friends out in the Everglades, the Erickson farm, the Erickson family have been on that land out there for over 100 years. And they actually mow their Everglades tomatoes with a Dixie chopper. And that's a big riding lawnmower. They just ride over those things. And I suggested that to Jeff some time ago. He says, that's not going to work. Well, guess what? Now, this is a great cultural technique. And so that is a terrestrial type product. I mean, it's a plant that grows on the ground. When you come here and you visit us at the Urban Farming Institute, you can see that, hydroponically, we grow vertically. And we think that a vertical space really is a space that is dramatically underutilized. And we need to start thinking about what is that space, how can we use it, and how valuable is a gardening space, and does gardening just have to be all about food? Well, one of the innovative things that the City of Oakland Park has undertaken, and you can go to this, actually just go to the City of Oakland Park webpage, and you can see the Parade of Orchids. This is a terrific project. And you have a chance to support that. You can donate, buy some orchids, and put them up at the Stunson Nature Trail. And it's just really a wonderful sort of thing. The story of the Parade of Orchids is on the website. We're very happy to support that. And in that conversation, when we're starting to think about, we grow plants in the ground. We have porterweed all around us here. And we've got some interesting philodendrons and some interesting ferns and so forth. But what are we doing with our trees? How do we advantage these trees? And part of the Parade of Orchids will be arboreal orchids that grow in trees, and it just seems to be something that I used to do as a kid, and we think it's a great thing to do. And I just thought, gee whiz, let's think about orchids. Let's put orchids on the list and be able to say it's part of the gardening. It's part of the gardening context. I mean, if you're interested in growing food and you're interested in creating a valuable space, and you're doing that in your backyard, well, then it's important to start thinking about things in a different way. In our garden here, we're very linear. And if we were to do this garden again, this would not be a linear garden. It would have more of a sweeping, curvilinear type of approach to that. When Megan was laying out the tropical food forest, the idea there was that it would be at some point as these plants begin to mature and grow in, that this would become a meander and people could actually walk through this space. And that reminds me of the car wash as we have this airplane going over. It's a very interesting sort of concept, and one of the plants that we really don't pay a whole lot of attention to are orchids. So this morning I went over to the Lowe's store, and I can tell you this is not sponsored by Lowe's. I actually paid for these, but I have 4 types of orchids here, and people say, well, orchids are just really impossible to grow. I can't grow anything. I have a black thumb. Whatever. And orchids, I'm going to put them on a tree. Come on, they have to be in a pot. They have to, well, wait, stop. It's time to stop. All orchids grow in trees. And just think that orchids are found on every continent with the exception of Antarctica. They're there. They grow in the ground. They grow on trees, in trees. They grow in the upper branches of trees. Pineapple is an epiphyte related to an orchid type, which is an epiphytic plant. And just think about this. So just for the purposes of conversation and being able to say, well, gee whiz, maybe I should think about orchids. And if orchids grow in trees, and listen, they've grown in trees for eons, and they've grown unattended. There was nobody out there playing with the orchids and fertilizing them and taking care of them. They just grew. And then they were discovered and became a big deal. And became hugely valuable. So if you're looking at the economics of this, and you're saying, well, gee whiz, maybe something I should try to do because I like orchids, and maybe it could be a hobby, and maybe I could go to the orchid show and maybe sell some plants or at the farmer's market or something. Well, just think about it, that plants typically double in price every year. So this cost about $3.50, $4. Next year, it's going to be a $8 or $9 plant. This is a Cattleya. This grows in a tree. It grows in Central America. It can grow in your backyard too. And actually, we're going to do a whole class on this to get Judy Bailey up here and see if we can have her talk to you about how best to grow these in your backyard. But Cattleya. A really nice plant. This is Vanda. Now, people love Vandas. Now, this is a little hard to tell. I'm not going to take it out of the wrapper here. But Vanda is a plant that requires a great deal of water. So if you have a water feature, waterfall, super humid place in your backyard, then a Vanda is a very good choice. And it's going to give you a flower that looks like this. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you imagine? I have some of these in my backyard that now are multi-years old, and it's just absolutely an amazing sort of thing when that goes into flower. And the same way with Cattleya, beautiful yellow orchid. One of the others that is really very interesting is here's another Cattleya, a little bit bigger. This was easily twice the price, and that's probably another 12, 14, 16 months of growth compared to this guy here. All right, and this is Dendrobium. Dendrobium is another really fabulous orchid. This is a wonderful thing, and you can see these canes down here. And this is where the pseudobulbs, as they're also known, is where water and nutrients are stored to keep the plant well nourished during very difficult times. And this is an almost impossible plant to kill. So just think about this. and think about how you can memorialize opportunity in your backyard or even on the Stunson Trail. The Stunson Nature Trail is really a wonderful thing, and it's really a great project of the City of Oakland Park, and they're partnering with a lot of people. Fairchild is involved with this. The Fort Lauderdale Orchid Society is involved. The city volunteers are involved. Just a lot of people, and of course, we're involved with it as well. So if you get a chance, cruise on over to the City of Oakland Park website. You'll see there, donate here. It's GoFundMe. And the proceeds that are raised for this project go to the Parade of Orchids on the John Stunson Nature Trail. And just for the fun of it, John Stunson was a longtime city manager here for many, many, many years, and passed away a few years ago. And this is a real nice tribute to John Stunson and the work that he did while he was here. We thank the city leadership for putting this package together. You know, Oakland Park is a very innovative place, and we're here because of innovation. And the story that we tell is thank you, Oakland Park. So go to that website if you'd like to participate in the Parade of Orchids. A great thing to do. Orchids are very, very easy to grow. They're easier to grow than they are to kill. And so that's it. I mean, that's our story for today. If you have any thoughts or comments, be sure to reach out to us. And in a little bit, you'll find this Facebook Live will pop up on Instagram and YouTube, and you can see it there as well. Cassie is with us today. She's returned from her road trip, and so at 11 o'clock she's going to be up, and she'll be doing, let's see, bananas. And if you subscribe to our newsletter, if you don't subscribe, you can go to our webpage and just sign up on the newsletter, and we keep you posted on the stuff that's going on around here. So that's it for here at the Urban Farming Institute on this beautiful